Hi everybody, I thought it was time to make another video that is all about how to use social media to get a job and how putting the wrong image forth on social media might be what's preventing you from getting hired, and how we can tidy up your social media to make it so you look very hireable. So I will use a practical example. I have this friend who has a degree, but they're a little bit quirky, and they put all that quirk into their social media. And unfortunately, where they are on the political spectrum, if you go look at their Facebook profile right now, I would tell you there would be a few things that I would see. One, all of their facial expressions, they would be making these kind of crazy smiles that look like they're a little bit wacky around the edges. So they don't have any sort of normal facial expressions in any of their photos. Number two, they do a lot of marathons where they wear costumes. And so in a lot of their photos, they're wearing these wacky, quirky outfits. So they, instead of looking, if you don't know that they're going to a marathon and that's the whole point, you'd be like, wow, this person's a little questionable. And then the other thing that they do that's very, very bad is it seems like every couple days they're making a post where they're constantly complaining about something or being an activist towards a group that's maybe on the wrong side of history. And so they're politically conservative and they put down a lot of groups and complain and sound negative and make a lot of rage posts. And because of these posts, combined with their wacky outfits and their wacky facial expressions and their weird dances that they do with their mom that are very awkward, they don't get hired. And I wish that there was a way that I could tell them, like, hey, let's clean this up. But they're very stubborn and they don't want to listen. But I'm here to tell you that if you're one of those people that thinks that you can just post whatever you want on social media and still get a job, that's probably not true, because uh, prospective employers are looking at your social media as a total way to judge your character. And even though we can't necessarily use social media as a way to judge people, it gives you a pretty good idea. So the goal here is to tidy up your social media and get it so you are looking very conservative in terms of how you present. So your physical appearance will be looking very tidy, very wholesome. And then, depending on where you're applying, obviously there's exceptions to the rule. And then we're going to clean up your social media of anything that would be a turnoff to people. So, first things first, the easiest way to solve this is a couple of different ways. Number one, you need to adjust your Facebook privacy settings to make sure that any future posts you make, that your audience um, is only limited to your actual Facebook friends. So I searched how to adjust your Facebook privacy settings. You'll want to follow the directions and do that. The next thing that you want to do that's very, very important is limit all of your past Facebook posts. So the way you do that is I Googled limit your past Facebook posts, and there is a button that you can click here. You follow the directions and you can limit every single post so nobody can see any of your previous posts except your friends. So that's the easiest way. Now, the second way to do this, people are going to find you if you're using your real name. But what I suggest is maybe changing your last name to some sort of alternate name, something that's maybe your middle name, maybe an alternate spelling that makes it so it's a little bit harder for people to find you if they are searching for you. Now, if you are tagged in a bunch of posts with your real name, the likelihood is that's not going to stick. So I really recommend doing this full cleanup and tidying. Like if I was trying to get a job, I would go back and hide any posts that don't look professional. I would hide any photos where I don't look professional and make it very neat, very tidy, very wholesome, and nothing opinionated, nothing angry, nothing activist, nothing ragey. Just Very simple. And then I would also make my Instagram profile private. So we're limiting our past posts, we're limiting our audience on future posts. The next thing that we're going to do is we are going to give ourselves a very wholesome Facebook profile photo or main Instagram profile photo. So I don't care what kind of job you're looking for, usually erring on the side of being conservative is a good idea. So, what I suggest, if you are a male, I want you to have very groomed facial hair or no facial hair if you're willing to shave. If you have facial piercings, you may want to consider removing them unless you're going to be working for a piercing parlor or a tattoo parlor or the kind of edgy place where that vibe works. The other thing, if your hair is longer and you're a male, I expect it to be well groomed, well kempt, brushed, maybe pulled back into a sleek ponytail or very tidy. We don't want stray hairs. We don't want wild hairs unless you're applying to be a tour manager for a rock band. So looking very tidy is important. Same applies to women. I want your hair well groomed. I want it out of your face, pinned back so we can see your facial features. If you have some acne or some skin issues, wearing some makeup to look polished is a great idea. And you can also utilize Facebook. There's an app called Airbrush that will allow you to even apply makeup digitally, so you can make yourself look a little more tidied up. If you have some acne, you can use little filters to clear things up, make yourself look nice. But I don't want to see any photo where you're looking wasted. It should be a photo of just you by yourself. It can even be a selfie just from the shoulders up. If you're wearing a shirt, I don't want there to be any logos on it. Nothing political on your shirt, just a plain shirt, preferably a button down or maybe a sweater. Cropping here is nice. This would be a good idea, just shoulders up so we can really see what you look like, see that you're professional, see that you're put together. So shoulders up is good cropping. I want your shirt to be clean and pressed. If you are wearing a white shirt, ladies, I do not wear a black bra underneath. I want it to be a beige bra underneath so we can't see your undergarments. As far as cleavage is concerned, I would go for a higher neckline unless you are trying to apply somewhere like as a cocktail waitress where looking a little bit sexy is maybe going to be what helps you get hired. Otherwise, keep it very conservative. So make your Facebook profile photo very conservative, your Instagram profile photo very conservative. Next, we're going to go over a list of do's and don'ts, okay? So Facebook and social media no-nos for when you are looking for a job. Number one, looking wasted in your main profile photo or at the club. A bar photo should not be your main photo if you are looking to get a job, nor should a festival photo be your main photo unless you're looking to work in the festival industry or the nightclub industry. Number two, party photos or drinking or drug use. Anything with dilated pupils, etc. I don't want to see you looking faded. You need to be looking sober. Any sort of Facebook posts or Instagram posts that are complaining or have a complaining tone. I realize we deal with a lot and we have a lot to be angry about as women, whatever. Maybe being a part of a special subgroup of people where we get discriminated against. But even if these types of situations happen to you when you're looking for a job, it's not the time to be complaining. Number four, angry posts. Anything that looks angry. Number five, anything that looks political. I don't care where on the political spectrum you stand. When you're trying to get a job, it's not the time to be talking about politics unless you're, again, trying to go into that industry and your knowledge in politics may help you get hired. But anything that is ranty or ravey, putting down certain parties or decisions in politics, that's not what we want to see when you're trying to get hired. Anything that can be misconstrued. So number six, anything quirky, anything gross or immature humor or unprofessional, just don't post it. It's not the time. I know we love funny stuff. We love memes, but you never know what an employer is thinking when they hire you. You never know who their clientele is. They are looking at your posts. So it's just not the time to share that. Unless you're a dance coach or a dance instructor, I don't think TikTok dances on your whatever is appropriate. I recognize people have TikTok and TikTok dances are great, but I don't think sharing them is entirely necessary. Again, you could always change your TikTok name to be something that is not your real first and last name. Thirst traps, just touching upon that, I will give you an example. Someone made a post in a Facebook group looking to be hired as a babysitter, but the photo that they posted showed a little bit of their curves, and they were wearing something that was maybe like low-rise jeans with a crop top, which as a regular teenager, honestly, that's not a big deal. But working with people's husbands in a family environment, the photo was not appropriate. And so they could have cropped the photo, cropped their booty out of the photo, cropped their bare midriff out of the photo, and just made it a head and shoulders shot. But a whole bunch of people commented on the photo being inappropriate, considering that they were looking for a job as a babysitter. I tend to think that most people, when they're looking for a nanny or a caregiver, they want the opposite of sexy. So it's sad that, we have these judgments, but it's just how people of different generations are still thinking. And so you need to be aware of that. 9, anything that puts down others or pokes fun at others. My friend who looks really wacky in all of his photos on his social media is a great example because he's constantly putting down various social groups. He is anti-trans, and unfortunately in today's society that does not fly, and so it's a huge barrier to him getting hired in the sector where he's applying. Number 10, again, overly seductive pictures. I have a lot of friends that are very big on posting thirst trap photos, but you have to think about the fact that maybe a much older boss of a gender that, you may or may not want advances from, like, never mind that. It's just not what should be publicly visible if you're looking for a job, unless you are maybe applying to be, a ring girl at a boxing arena, or one of the cocktail waitresses where looking sexy is definitely part of the job. Seductive pictures are not what should be public when you're applying for something professional, and that's not the type of industry that it is. Number 11, pictures that make it look like you party too much. If every other photo is a group photo of you out getting wasted with your friends, if I was a prospective employer, I would be making judgments about whether or not that person's going to be able to show up at work at 8 a.m. On the flip side, if they're applying for a job in the bar industry, I'll be like, okay, they probably like to be in a bar anyway. I might hire them, but context. Number 12, anything relating to smoking weed and doing drugs. The exception to this is if you are applying to work in a dispensary and pot is legal, then it's totally okay. Anything 13 that makes you look childish or irresponsible. So posts about not being able to pay your bills, about showing up late, about forgetting things, posts about losing things, anything that makes you look childish or irresponsible or forgetful. I would not have those kinds of posts be public on your social media. 14, anything overly opinionated. I know it sucks. This is cancel culture. But do you want to get hired? Because the odds are that the person hiring you may have very different beliefs than the ones you have. They may be of a different generation where they're still figuring out different social groups. They're still figuring out non-binary. They're still trying to understand what it means to have, the difference between sex and gender, and the difference between poly or not poly, or monogamy and non-monogamy. Like, that might not even be anywhere in their realm of thought. And so to post anything relating to these types of progressive opinions, in my opinion, when you're trying to look for a job, would be a mistake. Now, let's talk about 3 basic do's. Wholesome, uplifting content, always a plus. Cute animal videos. I love cute animal videos. I feel like you can never go wrong from posting cute things, wholesome things. Number 3, anything relating to kindness, always a plus. And anything positive that you have to say about other people, as long as it stays positive, always a great choice. So yeah, that's how to clean up your social media. You may not like it, you may not agree with it, but these are the unsaid rules that nobody is telling you when you're trying to get a job. If you want to work at a hipster cafe and having all of these opinions, being punk and being progressive is something that you're interested in, and maybe having these types of opinions and interests, if you're working for an LGBTQIA help center, having knowledge and respect for these subjects, if it's pertaining to where you're applying, will be great. But what if you're not applying at the punk coffee shop and maybe you want to apply at Starbucks where you get benefits and you get insurance and you will get your college classes paid for? How you present yourself does make a difference. You want to be a nanny, you want to be a caregiver, they want wholesome, they want reliable. You want to work in food service, you want to work in catering, they want reliable. So the impression you want to give is, I am here, I am reliable, I look great, I make a good impression, I show up, and I'm going to do the work, and I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to ruffle feathers. I'm just going to be here and be great. So, yeah, obviously, there's exceptions. If your job is relating to social media, I think you can discern when there are maybe exceptions to the rule. If you're applying to be somebody's social media editor or a photographer assistant, thirst trap photos and TikTok dances can maybe go a long way to help you getting hired. If you're working for a news site, knowledge and opinions about current happenings in the world could go a long way to getting you hired. But the majority of society does not want to see an angry, ragey, irresponsible party person when they're trying to hire you. So that's my speech. I will be making another sister post related to this post about how to use social media groups, Facebook groups, local micro Facebook groups to get a job in the next post. So stay tuned for that, and feel free to comment and give me all your anger and all your rage. I invite you to just put it all out here and tell me how much it sucks that I feel this way and that society shouldn't work this way, because I agree with you. But if you want to vent it to me, you can vent it to me, and I will be the healthy outlet for you to vent in the comments. So thank you, and I hope this helped you. Have a great night.